All right, folks, 25th of January, beautiful Saturday morning. It's 33 degrees, which I know sounds cold to a lot of you, but it's really not. It's nice and mild. If you can make that make sense. It's about 11 a.m. Of course, it's Saturday, so it's a good day for a lot of little stupid little honeydew odds and ends. One of the things that I'm doing that I have been working on for the last hour is, you know, we got a pretty fair amount of snow. It was a 3-day trickling snow and all pretty heavy and wet. Now it comes down to it, the accumulation was not that bad, but with all the snow plows and cleaning up the roads and everything, I've got about 3 or 4 entrances into fields, property that need to be kept open all year long, especially when the snow plows come and they embank it, you know, into the entrance. One of the things that I'm doing is I'm out here in the bale yard. We're gonna have a little talk here. Something that's a little bit scary. Okay, so this here that you can see, that's peas and oats. I think there's about another 6 bales of peas and oats, and the rest is sorghum. Now it's probably camouflaged with snow. There's another line right here of sorghum that I'm not opening up until April. This is the first crop alfalfa baleage. We put a heck of a dent in here, obviously. Well better than half this row, which was 95 bales. On the other side of that is another line that you can probably see because of the end here. That's second crop alfalfa baleage. So here's the problem. Obviously this is left open. The deer can get at it. I'm not concerned about that. Same with the peas and oats. Look at what they're doing. These crafty little sons of guns. They're taking their hoof, which is about as sharp as a razor, cutting the plastic, getting in there and eating. Of course, you can see all the tracks here. This is a sorghum row here that was completed last week. They ripped a little hole here. They hoofed in a little hole over here. And I'm going to tell you where this problem started. I got a lot to blame on this. A few weeks back, I was back here loading up a load to take back to the farm. I backed up just a little too far, and I ended up putting in an indentation in a little rip on the second crop alfalfa baleage. And I believe I did it here. I ripped it, and of course there's dozens of deer in here, I can only assume at night. They found the feed. Now I know I didn't do this one. They ripped this themselves. So, you know, animals in general, especially cattle, deer, they're not dumb. So they wisened up, and now they're putting their own holes in these bales, in these lines for feed. This is a big concern. I have heard about this happening. It hasn't happened to me yet until this year with what I just showed you. Now, the truth of the matter is, it's not going to hurt the feed. It's not going to hurt the ensiling process because that's already over. And it's not going to hurt the feed because of the temperature. Now, granted, it's real mild today, but it's not going to hurt it. And I can only assume that this is not going to happen during the spring, summer, or fall months because they've got food elsewhere. Right now, of course, we are covered in snow, and human and animal natures take the path of least resistance. Mr. Know-It-All here today, and all they need to do is just rip it apart They've grown crafty. They're smart. It's not the end of the world, but it is a problem. I gotta be honest with you, I'm looking at a hell of a lot of baleage next year. A fair amount. And depending on our winter, how early it sets in and the magnitude of it, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now, to alleviate these problems, I'll probably end up just feeding the deer a little ways away from wherever all the wraps are, to keep them from going in it. But we'll see what happens. For example, now we are across the highway. I think if you keep up with the channel, you know where we are. That was a gunshot. There's some big predator hunts going on here all weekend. A couple of big organized events. In fact, I got a good buddy and his pal that are going to be swinging by the farm property looking for coyotes. But for example, this is one of my larger fields here. This is owned by the farm. This is 24 acres, and this is going to be the second year of that new seeding alfalfa. I do have planned for that to all go into baleage, all of it, except for maybe, oh, I don't know, maybe 4 hay racks of small squares alfalfa for the horse hay buyers, maybe. Now, this field here, this was our hybrid sorghum field this past year. This year I do plan on tilling this up lightly. It's not going to get a mow bore or a chisel plow. I'll spare you the details. What I plan on doing here is I plan on putting peas and oats in here as a mothering crop to brand new seeding 100% alfalfa. So therefore there's going to be a heck of a lot of baleage coming off of here as well. Long story short, there'll probably be a bale yard of I'm going to guesstimate 400 high moisture wrap bales out here. And you know, there's probably a lot of you that are probably going to tell me, you know, it takes a lot to get back here. I got to do a lot of cleaning. I got to keep a steady path out here. I'd rather do that and work a couple times a week and get a path out here than to haul these bales. I don't have the capability of doing that, hauling bales and wrapping them self. I can't do it. I might pay the price for that someday, but right now I'd rather just work a couple days a week and keeping a good path clean. So yeah, that's the deer problem. It's not the end of the world. It is a problem, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. It is still flurrying a little bit, as you might be able to tell. It's about a half hour away from being over, and this 3-day affair is done for. And we have got a beautiful weather pattern to come. So anyway, I just cleaned up the driveway off the road to get in here, and I took a little path. Drove a little path with the bucket down and curled just to keep it compacted and clean. I'm going to do the same thing on the way back, and I need to get my butt in gear. I have got a list of stuff to go do today. As normal, it never ends. But anyway, just giving you a little look-see of the new problem we have here with deer. You can see it right behind me. They're getting into these wrap lines, and I don't know. Gonna have to think about something for next year, because that's not the greatest ordeal. All right, my mumbling's over. We're gonna talk to you sooner or later.